The moment it happened, the entire room stopped breathing. A young waiter rushed forward, ignoring the shocked gasps around him, and did something no one expected, something that crossed every invisible line of status and power. In front of New York's elite, he made a split-second decision that would save a life, but also expose a truth no one was ready to face. What followed didn't just change one night, it changed everything. The gala had been flawless up until that moment. Crystal chandeliers shimmered above, soft music floated through the air, and the city's most powerful figures gathered in quiet confidence. Among them was the billionaire's daughter, elegant and poised, the center of attention without even trying. Across the room, the waiter moved quickly yet quietly, focused on his work, unnoticed like most of the staff. But he noticed something others didn't. A subtle shift, a moment where her composure broke, where her hand trembled and her breath seemed to falter. While others continued their conversations, unaware, he felt something was wrong. And in that instant, instinct overruled hesitation. He rushed forward just as she began to collapse. The room erupted into confusion, voices rising, people stepping back instead of forward. Without thinking about who she was or who was watching, he acted. It wasn't about status or consequence, it was about saving her life. The moment was intense, urgent, and deeply human. When she finally regained consciousness, the silence that followed was heavier than any applause. Eyes turned not with gratitude, but with shock. The boundaries of wealth and class had been disrupted in a way no one expected. And standing at the center of it all, the waiter realized that this single act had changed how everyone saw him, and how he saw himself. The billionaire, who had been moments away, arrived just in time to witness the aftermath. His expression shifted from fear to confusion, then to something harder to read. He looked at his daughter, now recovering, and then at the waiter. For a brief second, there was no hierarchy, just a father processing what had almost been lost. But as the room's attention intensified, the weight of reputation returned. Whispers spread, questions formed, and the situation became more complicated than anyone anticipated. The waiter stepped back, unsure of what would come next, knowing that his actions, though necessary, might not be understood the way he intended. As the evening came to a close, the story had already begun to travel. What had happened in that room was no longer private, it had become something larger, something people would interpret in their own ways. The waiter returned home, replaying the moment over and over. He didn't regret what he had done, but he couldn't ignore the uncertainty that followed. Meanwhile, the billionaire's daughter found herself reflecting on the experience from a completely different perspective. She remembered the urgency, the courage, and the fact that in her most vulnerable moment, someone had stepped forward without hesitation. That realization stayed with her, growing stronger with each passing hour. The next day, the city was buzzing. Conversations unfolded in offices, cafes, and quiet corners where people debated what had happened. Some focused on the boldness of the act, others on the unexpected crossing of social boundaries. But beneath all the noise, a deeper truth began to emerge. The waiter wasn't defined by his position, and the daughter wasn't defined by her wealth. In that moment, they had simply been two human beings connected by circumstance and courage. And that truth challenged the assumptions many had held for years. When they met again, it wasn't in the spotlight of a crowded room, but in a quiet space where words could finally be exchanged. She thanked him, not with formality, but with genuine emotion. He responded with humility, still unsure how to navigate the attention that had followed. Yet as they spoke, something shifted. The barriers that once seemed so solid began to fade, replaced by understanding and respect. It wasn't about what others thought anymore, it was about what they knew to be true. In the end, what shocked New York wasn't just the act itself, it was what came after. A moment that could have been forgotten became a turning point, not because of status or spectacle, but because of its honesty. The waiter returned to his life with a new sense of confidence, and the billionaire's daughter carried forward a deeper appreciation for the people around her. And as the city moved on, as it always does, one thing remained clear: sometimes, the most unexpected moments reveal the most important truths.